This is Two Shy Guys a Mile High. Cue the damn music. Yo, we are back. This is P-Wil, Young Drip Chronicles in the building.
What's going on? Al Digger in the building. Still, we're just gonna go with tagless. Let's go tagless on it. Whatever.
Man, work on yourself.
It's your boy WB. Come fly with me. We back after some relaxation and mental clarity, because Lord knows it's been tough times, but you got to be prepared for those times. You feel me?
Life. Like, you couldn't tell me we was going to be in some type of world crisis, if you will, or whatever you want to call this, and still be rocking and rolling doing the cast, man. So just for me, man, just appreciate it every time we get together. We get to have a meeting of the minds and talk about, you know, things that hopefully matter not only to us, but to y'all as the listener. So just thank you. Coming into this season, I know definitely I didn't think we were going to be just kind of in this world situation we're in. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's kind of at odds with each other and not knowing kind of where people stand. And,
during a pandemic?
Yeah. It's pretty preparedness is important. I'm just going to say that. And so being ready for something, not necessarily knowing what it is, but having concrete plans in place in case of emergency, I think a lot of people were just caught by surprise. And so I'll kind of kick it off, if y'all don't mind. Just having a plan is better than not having a plan. So people are looking at their finances right now, looking at, okay, did I have enough money in the bank? Was I prepared for you know, my 3 or 6 months emergency fund? You know what I'm saying? These are things that I don't think a lot of people were thinking about. But those who did have that in place are not as, I want to say, taxed as those who didn't have a plan. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to kind of start off with that. Like, what do you guys think about really having a risk assessment kind of your life? Like, if this happens, you know, I need to have X, Y, and Z in place. Like, do you guys have things like that in place, or how do you see yourself around that type of topic?
And that one could be, it's tough because sometimes you don't know how to get prepared for what's going to happen. Like, you can't, not being able to predict the future, but you got to keep things somewhat in place to know if something happens, this is how I maneuver to handle a situation. I'm going to tell you a story. Move to a new crib, get the keys. My neighbor is an older gentleman, like, you know, he was a former Navy SEAL. Wow. And, you know, served time in one of the wars. Was the Vietnam War, I believe. So he's veteran.
Of an older gentleman.
Yeah. But he lives by himself, and, you know, it's kind of hard for him to get around. It's kind of hard. He, you know, had no support, and his family lives out of town. So, you know, he lives in this building and right up under my actual new unit that I'm in. So he's right under me. So one day I get the keys, and I order movers to come move from my old place to my new place. And they were dragging the stuff into the new apartment, and he arrived back. He had some type of medical emergency, and he got back to the crib and was trying to get up the stairs because there's a couple flights of stairs, and he couldn't lift himself up the stairs. He needed some assistance, and he was just there by himself. So, like, my movers, and we can't, like, touch him because it's hard for his...
I ain't touching nobody right now if I don't know it.
Message.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, like, he's struggling. But, you know, exactly, COVID and all this stuff's going on right now, so he's impacting my movers. So right now I'm in a situation where I feel a type of way because he's throwing off my movers that I'm paying by the hour.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I also want to make sure the livelihood of this dude, you know what I'm saying, make sure that he's okay because he doesn't want the systems, but he's trying to get up, but he's taking a long time, and it's just a crazy whole lots of things. Fast forward, so he gets into the crib, all my stuff gets in. After an hour, he actually gets into the crib. Okay, cool. The next day, in the middle of the night, I take my dog out. I got a new dog. He always using the restroom.
Tunchi.
Young Tunchi. Shout out. Take him outside. It's 4 a.m. Go outside like normal. Get back in the house. And then you just hear these fire alarms, right? Fire alarms going off. And I'm thinking, okay, something tripped the alarm. No need to panic or whatever. So I look back. I'm laying down. I'm like, okay, I'm finally unpacked these boxes. The alarm's still going off, and then Tasha hit me like, hey, you know what I'm saying? The alarm's going off. What's going on? She opened the door, and it's like smoke coming out of this apartment, right?
Ooh.
So I'm like, at that point, like you said, preparedness, like I was unaware of this whole thing happening, so I just got to react on the drop of a dime, like, okay, PJ, got to get him up, got to get everybody, you know what I'm saying, the important documents and stuff, get all this stuff. And get out of the crib. So having that kind of awareness to be like, okay, what can I get right now, just in case something get real serious, get this stuff out of the house so I can be, at least set up for, hey, I might need to spend a couple days somewhere.
Right. But you got some documentation.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Can get the, things that's going to make you whole. Yep.
So I grabbed those things, and then we just rushed everything to the car, get up out of there. So as I'm doing that, luckily, I had enough time to actually do that and feel comfortable that I grabbed the things that were important, got everybody out of the house that needs to get there. Young Tunchi got out. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to run back upstairs and actually notify the neighbors, because the neighbor got 2 little girls and stuff that live there. One of the neighbors, another neighbor.
The upstairs neighbor.
The upstairs neighbor from me. Okay. He has a young daughter, about a little over 1. So I'm just knocking on their door and stuff to make sure they're all out. But we didn't realize that, like, a large plume of smoke coming from that older gentleman's apartment.
Which is under you.
Under me. Right. Exactly. Wow. So, like, when I went to go notify the neighbors, he was the last neighbor that I could get to. One of the other neighbors from upstairs came down, and we was like, hey, we got to rush into this door. I think the smoke's coming from this actual apartment unit right here. So we bust into the door. Full of smoke, can't see anything in there. And it was just literally, I was like, man, this is a crazy situation. I've never been this close to an actual fire that's going on. And how do you react to, just a situation as it's happening? So I just thought, like, okay, fire, got to get a fire extinguisher. Grab the fire extinguisher next to the place, spray the joint down, because when you looked inside, you could only see he had a lamp, but it didn't have a lampshade, so I could see a light, and then I could see the fire right in front of me. But I don't know, like, how the layout of his crib is. So right. I'm like, I don't know how far I'm trying to go in here to actually extinguish this flame. So I just got 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door. So I'm spraying the flame, pop the fire extinguisher. You're not thinking all that pull, aim, spray, sweep. You just dousing the, what I'm saying, flame however you can.
Training went out the window.
Training went out the window, but you know what I'm saying, you got to stay calm in situations like that. So, like, I was just spraying that as much as I could, emptied that one out, and I'm like, okay. But at that time, my other neighbor, he came down as well, and he actually provides some assistance to the man. Like, he's like a volunteer firefighter.
Wow! Shout out
to him,
man, for real. Firefighters.
Shout out to him for real, because he was able to respond the same way, and it's also good to have some type of companion helping at the, you know what I'm saying. So I was like, hey, I got to do something to help this guy. I can't let him do it by himself. So luckily he was there as well. Shout out Benjamin. But went in there, I dropped one whole fire extinguisher, ran upstairs, grabbed another fire extinguisher, dropped that one whole thing in there, emptied that out. And then, like, what I heard after that, the other guy, he went in there, since he knows the layout, he went in there to try to check on the gentleman. But he has, like, a kind of set up a large couch on one side and then a love seat on the other side. He said the night before he had put him down on his couch where the direction of where the flames was coming from. Because he said he took him to the bathroom, so he dragged him to the bathroom the night before so he can use the restroom, and then he put him back on the couch, and that's where he left him when, it got late at night, right?
Right.
So I could see the flame from in front, but I heard somebody's voice to the right of me saying, like, help, I need some type of assistance. So I'm like, man, at that point in time, I'm like, oh, the man's in here. I didn't know, like, he was in there, or, you know what I'm saying, hopefully everybody had got out, but I forgot he's hard. He can't move really well, none of that. So I was able to hear that, but it sounded like it was real close. So what Benjamin actually did was the love seat. He was actually he must have got from the couch to the love seat, and he was able to pull the love seat closer to the door. So like I hear this within like arm's reach. So I reach out through the smoke and I can't see anything. And he's like literally arm's length away from me. And I was able to see his like touch his hand. So when I did that, I was just like, the first thing I got to do, I just got to yank this dude up out of here. So, you know, so he can be safe. Right. So I just yanked as hard as I can, but I heard him like saying like his arm, it was hard to like, it hurt him.
Right, but you trying to get him out. You trying to save your life.
That Tommy John, hey, whatever. Right. So I yanked him, and somehow, he got on the floor. I yanked him pretty hard. Hey, that's what I had to do. Right. So he was on the ground closest to the door. So Benjamin was actually able to grab his legs. I grabbed his arms. We were able to pull that dude out of there, man. It was just ridiculous.
Man, they need to have a ceremony for you in Washington, boy. Wow, you need to keep the city for that.
Hey, for real. I got the key to the city.
Yeah, I got the key to the street. But no, shout out to you being the fireman. You know what I'm saying? We got Tunchi, the fireman, coming, because this is not the only time that Phil has prevented and saved the forest fire. You feel me? Because even before then, before you even moved to the spot, I remember when we were walking out, and then you were like, man, I was walking out there, I saw it was like a fire going, because I was like, what's taking Phil so long? He's talking about going to walk the dog. So he came back. And then you had to get some water. You said people were pouring Golden Peak tea or whatever, using the water for water and throwing it out. And he was like, man, when you leave, make sure that the flame's not going. And then I had hit you. And I was like, man, it's still going. So you prevented that fire too, man. But
it was one of them hot days in Seattle. That fire was beaming right on that little spot. It was just like some dirt. Yeah. And it caught fire, and I just grabbed a couple gallons of water, man. I just dumped it down there just to make sure it was close enough that I could see it. So I was like, man, make sure that this thing don't spread. So having that type of awareness, you know what I'm saying? Like we say, awareness and preparedness, I was able to be calm. Notify, I called the non-emergency number. I said, it's a fire going on right here. You might want to check it out. Wow. But I was able to douse it a little bit, so I mean, it was okay.
I think there's two sides of it as well, too. I think there's the emergency preparedness. You want to be prepared to make sure you have a fire extinguisher in your crib, that you have things in a fireproof box, that you have the clothes, just the documents and stuff that you have to have stashed away. Yeah. But there's also awareness, too, because you're aware to utilize all the education that you have gotten throughout the years through elementary school, grade school, from what do you do in a fire? What type of fire is it, and what type of product you use? Because if it's a grease fire, you don't want to be throwing water on it, you know? Right. So there's different classes of fire extinguishers. Pass, like you said earlier, point, aim, sweep, spray. Yeah. Just those little small things that are in the back of your mind that you need to realize and have in your life to be able to survive.
Wow. And actually, and after that, had to have a sit down with the fam and be like, hey, these are the things we need to keep some type of bag in case for emergencies. Mm-hmm. My building manager, she gave me one of those. She gifted me one of the emergency ladders. Put that there, so just in case it's something we need to get down from.
It made people definitely more aware of that. Hey, we might not be as prepared as we thought we was.
Yep.
You know, and that's what we were talking about before we fired up the cast. Like, just not having that false sense of I'm just settled. I'm cool. And I think, just our perspectives definitely, I know for you and me, P-Dub, you in the shop, bro, like you say, a 360. You know what I'm saying?
Always on the 360.
You down the floor, the 360. So I think having that little heightened awareness in us anyway innately kind of gives us a little bit of an edge. Not better than anybody else, but I think we have a different perspective when it comes to our surroundings. Because, bro, I'm always, looking around. People are like, yo, why are you not sitting over here? I'm like, well, if you really want to know, I got my back to the wall here because nobody can come to my back and hit me over here with something, anything, and then I can see all the... It's like you literally have to make sure, when you're driving, rules of the road, make sure you have an out, right? Mm-hmm. And this is what we're talking about, right? We're talking about giving your life an out, right? Let me even preface it with this. This man has been involved in 3 fires.
Yeah.
So, and the other one, this involved actually my family as well. So,
this is you got to call me Mr. Drip Chronicles.
Man, drip on them. We glad you dripping on them now because
spraying that drip down as the fireman.
It was within a month though. Is what I'm saying.
It's all happened within a month. So another thing happened. So another day, maybe a couple days after the building fire that I experienced, sleep at the crib. Oh no, it was 4 because the earlier that same day at around 6 p.m.
Got you. It was some
6
smoke
p.m.
coming
there
from
was some
one of the
smoke coming
apartments.
from apartment next door to my place,
and actually adjacent to mine as well. So we stay in close proximity. So that place was in the middle of where we both
They
stay.
triangulating y'all locations where y'all live
I mean,
right now.
like whatever, but I mean, like we stay close enough to where the fire would have touched both our families. You see what I'm saying? And so I'll let you take it from your perspective.
Around 6 o'clock, I'm sitting in my room, and then my son comes in, and he's like, "Hey, you see all this smoke outside?" And now, like, anytime I hear the word, "Oh, you see some smoke outside," it must be a fire. So I'm like, "All right, let's grab all our stuff. What we need to get."
You was ready.
Exactly. I was ready already. So just like grab all the stuff that we need right now, throw it in the whips. Let's evaluate the situation. Walked outside, and the building adjacent to us, actually where I used to stay when I first moved out here, was lit up on fire, and this was like midday.
Right.
And then I was able to see like a whole tree burnt up next to it, and then the fire department, they came down, put it out, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that was just an experience right there. I'm like, man, maybe this is bad luck or something, man, or what's going on right now. And I know it was around the same time as the wildfire, so it was just a whole bunch of stuff going on, so you just unaware, but you just kind of on edge about everything. You know, it's real smoke and all the smog around in the air.
Yeah, the air quality was crappy.
The air quality was the worst in the world.
It was worse in the world. Yeah. So you can't even go outside, really. So, but go ahead. I don't want to take your perspective, man, on it.
No, so just like the fire department came and put it out, and it's around 6 p.m. So everything good, you know what I'm saying? But you're still assessing the situation. You're still on edge. You got that anxiety. So I'm like, okay, these days I'm gonna just have to be around the crib in case this goes up. I want to be at the crib around the fam to make sure that in case anything needs to go off, I need to be the head of the house and make sure everything is situated the way it needs to be.
Honcho.
For real. So go to sleep that night around midnight. My neighbor calls me like, you see it's another fire going on right now, same place as it was earlier today. I'm like, are you serious? Walked outside, this place is on fire now. And it's like super adjacent to our cribs. Right. Like if it goes up that hill, it's where you at.
Yeah.
And it's right, if the wind blow a little bit,
it's on y'all complex. Yeah. It was crazy, man. And picking up from there, and I'm gonna go backwards. Like when you at like 11 or 12, like that's when I hit you up too. I'm like, yo, like, are you good? Because like the first thing I think about is you had just talked about the other fire. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking like, oh my goodness. Like in my mind, I'm like, yo, I hope this didn't just happen again. And this young man has lit a cigarette or something underneath you guys and the smoke went up. So I call you. You're like, no, I'm good. I'm looking at it right now. So I'm like, okay, at least I can rest easy there. But I'm still thinking in my mind like, okay, is everybody safe down there? Are they good? And that fire, I mean, it's just so orange. Like we were up. We were watching Cobra Kai, man, for real. Like, interesting, very interesting series. But so we were up. Because I'm saying we're normally not up. That's what the context is. Usually like 11:30. We put the boys to sleep so we can just chill out, do our business stuff for the work. And then it's like my neighbor called us. He's like, "Hey, man, did you look outside? Because we got a lot of greenery back there, like a lot of land that was just so dry. It was dry." You know what I'm saying? And so, if, like you said, if that wind blow any direction, if it hits that, it's like a match. It's just going to go up in flames. And so our house would have really came up to our house. And so I'm looking at it like, oh my God, get everything. You know what I'm saying? We got our papers, hopefully where they need to be. We grab all that. We got 2 little carry safes. We had all our documents in there, like the passports, the birth certificates. So
the jewels, the diamonds, the cash.
But we were able to get the boys out, you know what I'm saying, and get everybody out within 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm saying we had kind of a little system in place where, like, if anything ever happens, but we got to get out quick. It's not just us. It's not me and Mary that we got to think about. We got to think about, okay, in relation to the house, no matter what, where are the boys? Where are our kids? Where are our, like you said, our documents, so we can claim, the things that we need to claim here, because we're not worried about the house.
Yeah, and it's low key. You would think it might be kind of cheesy, but it might even be good to just have a fire drill for your own crib, maybe once a quarter or something, or just to have that scenario.
Yes.
So you're good to go just in case it happens and people aren't panicking and you don't know what to do or what positions to be in. That could be something that could be implemented as well too. My biggest thing that I'm taking away from all the different perspectives is the fact that you educated yourself, you use these different scenarios to actually learn from situations, implement it in your life, even though you weren't, quote unquote, directly affected, meaning that your apartment didn't go down. The one underneath that was the other closer to you, you big time could have been affected by that. Wow. But you're just using the information and the knowledge you gained from that to be ready for these other scenarios. Yep. And now it's like, PJ saw the fire. He was like, wasn't running around and like, what are we going to do? He's like, look, there's smoke. And then you have a plan. Let's go execute and do what we need to do. Right. So it's just always just good just to be prepared. And prepared, it comes in many stages. Even from that aspect, you talk about financial preparedness from what you're talking about, making sure that you have some money stashed away for a rainy day or something that happens. Because in life, you're going to get touched. It's not about a matter of if it happens. It's just when it happens. And I'm say that to say that when we are in the thick of life and you're going through things, sometimes you don't take time to take a step out of seeing what's going on right now to do that risk analysis, to prepare for the unknown, to make sure that you're covered. Yeah. I do live by faith, but at the same time, I got to keep it G and understand that trial and tribulations are just a part of life. Things will happen. So just at least think of some things I can do to help mitigate some more harm in the future.
Yeah, but on the other hand, being prepared for this, I think it comes with the fact that we pick up the lean mentality and always talk about efficiency, because that's what, we all STEM professionals, so we know how lean Six Sigma works.
Build, measure, learn.
Man, build, measure, learn, Tim Wood, making sure you get rid of waste, increase efficiency. You know what I'm saying? Sir. So being able to have the documents in one place, it makes it just a one-stop shop. This is how I get everything. It's spreading out. It's spread out far enough that it ain't all in the same place, but you know how to get to it. You know, you got those stashed away.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 done.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So just having those things in mind, so at this point in time, everything is. I mean, the material stuff is material stuff. Making sure that you got the important things in place is the most important thing. So, and making sure that everyone's safety. Like when everything went up, you was the first one to call me besides my neighbor. Like, hey, P. This is what's going on outside. Are you aware of it? All right, man, I'm taking care of the fam. So that's just important that you was able to do that. Just checking on, hey, we live in the same vicinity around each other. Let me make sure that the homie is good.
Exactly. So. That was because I told you, like, you hadn't told me about that situation. You educated me, so you shared your story with me. You could have just had that happen that morning and then just been like, "What's up, Al?" and say nothing. But I think we had that type of relationship where we always trying to improve. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't no like. I'm one up in P-Wil, I'm one up in Dub. No, it's just if you see something and the lesson is learned there, I'm trying to give it to you, like, or at least the lesson that I learned. Like, you can take whatever you want from it, but I'm very excited about this conversation because like it really let me personally know that the things that we were doing unseen when the time happened, we was ready to go because we talk about that all the time, like for real, like low key, like we like, hey. Did you hear about, there's wildfires, like, and then we adjust, like for our honeymoon, like we had to adjust our schedule because of wildfires and unseen things. We were still able to maneuver, but we were thinking ahead, like, okay, if these wildfires don't calm down, why would we go down here and try to enjoy this San Francisco Bay Area at this time, especially? So it was already touch and go because of what's going on anyway, but we had a plan to attack that. Get in there, right to the hotel, chill, and be there, and just relax and chill, but the air was crappy, so we had to adjust. You know what I'm saying? So just having the awareness of something will go wrong at some point. Don't be a scaredy cat, but just be like, hey, am I covered for 3 to 6 months of just if I don't have a job right now? You know what I'm saying? Or am I covered for, if I lose my job, you know what I'm saying? Or if I lose my house or whatever. Or if I'm just not able to produce the income that I used to produce, am I prepared for that scenario? And if you're listening to this and you're like, damn, I didn't even... this corona is giving me this woe. You still can come out of it. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we're saying. Like, but you got to take a stance right now and say, look, even if I wasn't prepared then, I can start today, right now, looking at my whole situation.
Yeah. Get yourself a plan, and then make a backup plan, and then make a backup plan to back up the backup plan. And make sure you get those things in order. And check on the close ones because you never know what someone's going through, as always. But like you said, man, just having those things in place just make you be able to lay easier and to be more comfortable being you know what I'm saying, the environment that we're in right now.
Right.
So we got these measures in place, but we still dealing with a pandemic going on, dealing with the social injustice that's going on.
Yeah, hey, them cops, y'all guilty. Y'all need to go to jail besides some wonton abandoned, but we gonna get on that later. You know what I'm talking about. Rest in peace, Breonna Taylor.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
I'm sorry, that just stuck a nerve.
Oh no, man. I mean, but that's what this was about, dude. Like
Awareness,
yep. G. Like, and I'm saying with the social medias, I'm saying there is some positive in it to be able to be aware, but at the same time, you know, it's not. It's about understanding your, how do I say it, your lens that you're looking at the info that you're getting, the awareness that you're becoming aware of, if that's like, you know, that was kind of circuitous, but you have to understand where you are right now and where you're trying to go. And that's how you get prepared, right? You get prepared by thinking of, okay, if this scenario pops up, do I have what I need to go through it? And that's it.
What is wanton endangerment, bro?
Man, we're going to have to leave this off the internet. In most cases, people can largely identify what is prohibited under the law by the name of the offense. For example, we generally know what the crime is when somebody is charged with drug possession, DUI, robbery, rape, murder. Wanton endangerment is a little more difficult to define. Kentucky statutes define wantonly this way. A person acts wantonly with respect to a result or to a circumstance described by a statute defining an offense when he is aware of or consciously disregards a substantial and unjustifiable risk that the result will occur or that the circumstance exists. The risk must be of such nature and degree that disregard thereof constitutes a gross deviation from the standard of conduct that a reasonable person would observe in the situation. So that is a lot of legal jargon, but basically what it comes down to breaks down to, from what I've been educated on, maybe not so much from the hearsay of the law that I just read, because it is kind of convoluted, is when you just knowingly put people at risk. And what the officers got charged for is wanton endangerment for the shots of fired, and it could possibly hurt the affecting neighbors, not necessarily that the person got killed in the house. So they're charging for the people on the outside.
The walls that got shot.
It's ridiculous.
And I'm not going to downplay that because, yeah, that's true. The bullets could have hit them. But
what about what about the bullets that did hit somebody?
They did hit somebody.
You just gonna just say that wasn't endangerment? Yeah. That is that they are endangered. Now they're not here.
Yeah, so rest in peace.
Rest in peace, man.
I hate to kill the vibes, but we just talk about everything that's good is going on. That just struck a nerve, brother. Spirit.
But awareness, man.
You gotta share that.
But it is awareness, man. Like just what's going on around us and us being prepared. Just as 3 black men traveling. You know what I'm saying? Day to day. So it's. I mean, I think the thing is us having those conversations, like just straight up convos about what's going on and kind of like you say, the lessons that we've learned. And I'm telling you, like this has been a hell of a month. You know what I'm saying? A lot of highs and some lows,
bro. The year,
yeah.
2020 is the year of the unpredictable,
and that's why you know what I'm saying the people that were a little bit more prepared. I mean, they are where they are, and so I mean, are they complaining? I don't know.
Hey, but it's never too late. Get prepared. Gather knowledge on what's going on. Gather history. Understand. Peep the surroundings. Stay aware. Stay in the news. Stay in the history. Learn from it, and make sure you apply those lessons learned to your daily life to help elevate yourself.
Yeah, and I just got one last thing to say in general. We're coming from our perspective and where we currently are. We didn't get here overnight. We talking about 3 to 6 months of living expenses or emergency funds stashed away. Start with $50. Start with $100. It doesn't matter. It's just going to build over time. And it's just those small, consistent steps that you can make to get there at the end of the day. We live in a quick fix society, microwave generation, instant gratification. But just take the small steps and you'll definitely get there. Be intentional about what you're doing.
Yep. Wow. That's what it was. You know, when the shit hit the fan, literally, you were intentional. I need to get my family out. there was no room for error there. You see what I'm saying? That when you can laser focus in like that in your life, and I'm not saying that everybody's perfect. Everybody's going to be just hitting on all cylinders all the time. But what I'm saying, like you said, intentionality, bro. Like, you intentionally moved the way you moved. Yeah. You was like, hey, Tosh, get up now. Ain't no, no. Heads out of bed. Let's go. Let's go. There's no time for questioning here. You intentionally, as the leader that you are, bam, I need to get the important pieces of my life safe. Mm-hmm. There is no question. And I'm saying that's intentionality in your life. And now, because of that, your awareness has gone to another level. Let's go say it.
What Super Saiyan?
Went to another level, ascended. Whoa. Went to it. And so now you're going to be a lot more capable of maneuvering through situations that might cause others anxiety because you have been seasoned enough to know, okay, when literally shit hit the fan, don't panic. Mm-hmm. What can I do here? What can I control here?
And you did it right, and you were so cold and efficient because you still had enough time to save somebody's life, bro.
Yeah. So wrapping that all up, man.
Yeah, we can't gloss over that one. Can't gloss over that one.
Hey, but didn't even think about
that's why you need to be, sorry, that's the last time I'm cutting you off. I did it a couple times. I will be weird. But that's why you need to be worried about killing black folks, because you might be killing the person that could be saving your life.
Message.
For real. And just when you're in a situation, man, and you don't even think about it, it's like, man, it's another person. You know what I'm saying? I just got to make sure that I do what I can to help, save somebody if they in duress. So didn't even think about it, but just did enough to change a life or to make something happen. And, it's just something that gives me that gratification, just knowing that, hey, I was in the right place at the right time to do this. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I don't look for nothing from it. It's just about, you know what I'm saying, you pay it forward, you give back, because at one point in time, he was defending our country, you know what I'm saying? And he was a veteran, so he did something to put his life on the line, and it just happened to come, full circle, and I was able to save somebody as well. So, that's just how I think about it. But it also drives awareness, because now you aware of like what you can do and like how to have your backup plan. The same with you, so because we was ready in that same instance, like because it was just the stories and we learned from the lesson. So the lesson was put out there. We were challenged and we were able to overcome the objective or the obstacle that was in our way, and it got us ready and more prepared for the next day and the next day. And as these things change, we begin to adapt to the situation as we can and still learn from it. So I'm just glad that we were learning from the lesson instead of being delinquent to the lesson or losing to the lesson or not learning from it and beginning our insanity circle.
Right.
Well, you shared it though.
Affect you like, oh, this can't happen to me.
But you have to have the courage to share that though. You know what I'm saying?
Splash everywhere. Ain't no fire gonna come around me.
For real. But I'm not calling you though. If you don't hit me up the day, like I think it was that day of or the day before, where you told me about your story. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying when we are able to tell our stories, bro. When we're able to really understand something for the first time or maybe the second time, and it can apply to others' lives. Hopefully it's coming off here in the podcast.
Listeners, hopefully y'all getting something from this. We just trying to let y'all know, like you said, from our perspective, the stories that would go on with us, and maybe you can learn a lesson from it, or maybe you got something, you want to share some insight with us.
Right.
Please reach out to us at twoshottguys@gmail.com. As always, follow us on Instagram, like the content, love the content, share it with somebody somebody that may have some use for this episode. We always like to hear back and get feedback from you. We appreciate all the listeners. We appreciate you tuning in. It's P-Wil, Drip Chronicles, Young Tunchi, Fireman, whatever you want to call
me.
Lifesaver.
For real, man. Al Digger, still tagless.
WB, come fly with me. Y'all stay blessed.
Love y'all.